On November 1, 2024, NASA detected something approaching Earth. Within 48 hours, 3 major space agencies stopped talking. This is what they're not telling you. The object has no official name. Internally, NASA calls it Anomaly Zero-Seven. But here's the part nobody expected. It's not following the laws of physics as we know them. Let me explain what that means. October 29th, the Pan-STARRS telescope in Maui picks up an unknown signature distance, 4.2 million miles from Earth. Standard procedure: log it, track it, classify it. Except classification failed. The system ran the analysis 6 times. Each time, it returned the same result. No match found. Not asteroid, not comet, not debris, not satellite. Dr. Rachel Kimura was the lead astronomer on duty that night. She ran a manual override. According to leaked communications, her exact words were, "This can't be right. Run it again." They did. Same result. And this is where the story becomes terrifying. Every object in space follows predictable patterns: gravity, momentum, orbital mechanics. These are laws, not suggestions. This object ignores them. First anomaly: rotation. Asteroids tumble. They spin chaotically because of collisions over millions of years. Comets rotate as ice sublimates. This object doesn't rotate at all. It maintains perfect stabilization, like something designed, like something controlled. But here's where it gets worse. November 2nd, day 4 of tracking. The object's path is calculated. Expected trajectory: a standard elliptical pass, coming within 1.8 million miles of Earth before continuing into deep space. Normal, predictable, safe. Except at 11:43 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, something impossible happened. The object altered its course. Not by much, 3.7 degrees. But in space, that's enormous. That's the difference between a flyby and an intercept. Dr. Marcus Webb from the European Space Agency said in a deleted podcast interview, "Natural objects don't do this. The energy required for that maneuver, without visible propulsion, violates our understanding of celestial mechanics." The interview was removed within 6 hours, and NASA refuses to explain why. Spectroscopy is how we identify what objects are made of. Light reflects off the surface. We analyze the wavelength simple. Except this object's spectral signature makes no sense. It absorbs 92% of visible light. That's blacker than any natural material we've ever recorded, blacker than coal, blacker than charcoal, almost as dark as Vantablack, the darkest substance ever created by humans. But here's the disturbing part. The 3% of light it does reflect, the wavelength doesn't match any known element or compound in our periodic table. Dr. Yuki Tanaka from the Tokyo Observatory stated in a now restricted research paper, "Either this object is made of materials we've never encountered, or it's artificially coating itself to avoid detection." Artificially coating itself. Let that sink in. November 5th, day 7. This is when everything changed. At 0300 hours Zulu time, tracking stations across 4 continents recorded the same impossible event. The object slowed down, not gradually, instantly, from 37,000 miles per hour to 18,000 miles per hour in less than 2 minutes. That kind of deceleration would create G-forces that would tear apart any known material. Metal would shatter, rock would vaporize. Even military spacecraft with advanced dampening systems couldn't survive it. This object did it without breaking apart, without any visible thrust, without any energy signature. One NASA engineer, speaking anonymously to a private investigation forum, said, "It's like watching a car hit the brakes in space, except there are no brakes in space. There's no friction. There's nothing to slow you down unless you have active propulsion." And we detected no propulsion. November 6th, 72 hours after the deceleration event, NASA activated Protocol 7-Charlie. This protocol has only been used 3 times in history. Once during the Cuban Missile Crisis, once after 9/11, once during a classified satellite collision in 2008. It means information lockdown. All public updates stopped. The NASA Near-Earth Object Database, which updates daily, froze. No new entries, no trajectory updates. Nothing. The European Space Agency went dark. JAXA in Japan canceled 2 scheduled press conferences with no explanation. China's space program, which usually publicizes every discovery, said absolutely nothing, radio silence, across the entire global space community. But here's what they couldn't hide. While government agencies went silent, amateur astronomers kept watching, and they saw something that should be impossible. The object stopped. November 7th, 2:14 a.m. Pacific Time. The object reached a position exactly 2.1 million miles from Earth, and it held that position for 17 hours. Objects in space don't stop. There's no parking brake. There's no anchor. Without constant thrust, you drift. That's physics. This object hovered, motionless. For 17 hours, one astrophotographer in New Mexico captured time-lapse footage. The stars moved across his frame as Earth rotated. The object stayed perfectly still. He uploaded it to Reddit. The post got 40,000 upvotes in 3 hours. Then it was removed. Account deleted, footage scrubbed, but copies spread, and people started asking questions. November 9th. This is the detail that changes everything. Multiple independent radio telescope operators reported detecting a signal not from Earth, not from any known satellite, from the object. Frequency, 1.42 gigahertz. That's the hydrogen line, the most famous frequency in all of astronomy. It's the frequency scientists use to search for extraterrestrial intelligence because any advanced civilization would know it. The signal lasted 6 minutes, then stopped. SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Organization, issued a statement. "We are aware of reports. We are analyzing data. No conclusions at this time." But leaked internal emails tell a different story. One SETI researcher wrote, "The signal structure is non-random. It contains patterns, repeating intervals, mathematical sequences. This is either the most elaborate hoax in history, or we are receiving intentional communication." The email was sent to senior leadership on November 10th. By November 11th, that researcher was placed on administrative leave. November 12th, satellite tracking enthusiasts noticed something unusual. U.S. Space Force assets began repositioning. 3 reconnaissance satellites altered orbits. The X-37B spaceplane, which had been in orbit for 8 months on a classified mission, suddenly changed trajectory. Russia moved 2 of its Cosmos series satellites to new positions. China's Tiangong space station adjusted its altitude. These maneuvers cost millions of dollars in fuel. You don't do that without a reason, and all 3 nations repositioned their assets to maintain line of sight with one specific region of space where the object was located. Defense analysts noticed. One former Air Force intelligence officer said on a podcast, "This is a coordinated military observation pattern. You only do this when you're tracking a potential threat and you need redundant coverage in case it moves." In case it moves. They expected it to move November 14th, 0700 hours Universal Time. The object moved again, but this time, it didn't just move. It accelerated at a rate that should be physically impossible, from stationary to 41,000 miles per hour in 8 minutes. NASA's own physics models estimate that acceleration would require energy output equivalent to 3 nuclear reactors running at full capacity for an hour. And we detected no engine, no exhaust, no heat signature, no radiation. One orbital mechanics professor calculated the G-forces involved and posted his findings online. If this object has any internal structure, any components, anything that isn't perfectly reinforced, it should have been destroyed. That acceleration would liquefy biological matter. It would crush metal. It would shatter ceramics. His post was shared 27,000 times before his university asked him to take it down. He refused. 3 days later, his research grant was suspended pending review. As of today, the object is 1.6 million miles from Earth. That's 6.7 times the distance to the Moon. Current velocity, 24,000 miles per hour. Current trajectory, direct approach to Earth's orbital path. Estimated time to closest approach, 14 days. Let me be very clear about what that means. In 2 weeks, this object will be closer to Earth than most of our communication satellites. It will be well inside the range where we could send probes, where we could establish communication, where we could analyze it in detail, or where it could analyze us. 3 days ago, NASA posted a brief update on their website. Quote, "We are monitoring a near-Earth object of interest. Current data suggests no threat to Earth. We will provide updates as warranted." That same day, they requested emergency session time on the James Webb Space Telescope. Emergency sessions are almost never granted. JWST time is scheduled years in advance. They got it approved in 4 hours. That same day, the Deep Space Network, which communicates with spacecraft across the solar system, canceled 11 scheduled contacts with active missions Mars rovers, Voyager probes, Juno at Jupiter, all canceled to free up bandwidth for tracking one object. You don't do that for something routine. November 16th, yesterday, a document appeared on several classified leak websites. It's labeled Internal Assessment, Anomaly Zero-Seven, Executive Summary. The document is 47 pages. Most of it is redacted, but 3 sentences are visible. Object demonstrates technological capability exceeding current human aerospace engineering by estimated minimum factor of 50. Propulsion mechanism unknown. Energy source unknown. Purpose unknown. Recommend elevated readiness posture across all relevant agencies pending further observation. Elevated readiness posture. That's military language. That means preparing for potential action. The document hasn't been verified. NASA hasn't commented. The Pentagon hasn't commented. But multiple credible journalists have confirmed the document matches NASA's internal formatting and classification protocols. Here's what should concern everyone watching this. Every major government with space capability knows about this. United States, Russia, China, European Union, Japan. None of them are talking publicly. When have you ever seen that level of international coordination and silence? When has every space agency on Earth simultaneously agreed to stop sharing information with the public? The International Space Station had a press conference scheduled for November 15th. Cancelled. No explanation. The Artemis moon mission timeline was supposed to be updated this week. Delayed indefinitely. SpaceX postponed 2 commercial satellite launches. Both were weather-rated as go. Both got scrubbed anyway. It's like someone hit pause on the entire space industry, and nobody is saying why. But you can't silence everyone. Independent astronomy networks are tracking this object 24/7. They're posting updates, sharing coordinates, comparing data, and what they're seeing is consistent. The object is maintaining its approach vector. No more stops, no more sudden maneuvers. Just steady, controlled movement toward Earth, like something that knows exactly where it's going. One amateur astronomer in Australia captured high-resolution images using a 16-inch telescope. The object appears elongated, cylindrical, with surface features that look geometric, not random, not natural, geometric. He estimated the size based on light reflection, approximately 400 meters long, 100 meters wide. For scale, that's bigger than the International Space Station, smaller than an aircraft carrier, the perfect size for a spacecraft. 14 days from now, this object will reach its closest point to Earth. What happens then? Nobody knows. Will it pass by harmlessly? Will it stop again? Will it communicate? Or is it already communicating, and we just don't understand the message yet? Scientists around the world are watching. Militaries are positioned. Space agencies are silent, and all of us are waiting. Here's what we know for certain. An object is approaching Earth. It behaves unlike anything natural we've ever observed. It demonstrates technology we cannot explain. It has altered course multiple times. It has stopped and started. It has accelerated beyond known physics, and every government with the capability to study it has gone silent. So the question isn't whether this is unprecedented. It obviously is. The question is, what do they know that we don't? What has NASA seen in their classified data that made them activate emergency protocols? What did that signal on November 9th actually say? And why, after decades of searching for signs of intelligence in the universe, did every major space agency suddenly stop talking the moment we might have actually found it? In 14 days, we'll have answers, whether we want them or not. The The object will be close enough to study in detail, close enough to photograph clearly, close enough to analyze completely, or close enough to act. Whatever Anomaly Zero-Seven actually is, we're about to find out. And based on how governments are preparing, based on the silence, based on the coordinated military positioning, they're not sure we're going to like what we discover. Stay watching, stay informed, because what happens in the next 2 weeks could change everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. This is day 19 of tracking, 14 days until closest approach. The countdown has begun.